Today, I'll show you how to prepare the file, cut and assemble this pop-up card. Hello, what's going on everyone? This is Omar from Awesome SVGs. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. Pop-ups are one of my favorite designs. I created this card a couple years ago for Christmas, and I decided to update it today to make it easier to be cut and put together. And I used these watercolor bouquets of flowers I painted a while ago. The card can be folded flat, and it fits a standard A2 size envelope. Okay, so go to awesomesvgs.com and download the zip file for this project. Once you unzip this file, you will find 5 different files within it. There are 2 SVG files, there is 1 Silhouette Studio file, and there are 2 PNG transparent background images files. These are the print then cut files. The SVG files have 2 different versions. The first one that you'll see right here is the cut lines version. Instead of scoring the folds of the card base, there are dashes that will be cut within that card base and will guide you through the folding of the card. The second SVG file is a file that contains scoring lines on a different layer, and you will have to upload this file to Design Space and change these lines to be scored. The Silhouette file contains the card base with cut lines and also the print then cut images. Now there are 2 print then cut images. One is a low resolution version of the image, and the other one is a high resolution version. Here are the 2 PNG files compared side to side. When printed, you will not see much of a difference, but the high resolution file evidently has a lot more detail on the actual image. If we zoom in, you'll see that this file can be zoomed to just that extent. And if we zoom in on the high resolution file, you'll see that you can zoom in much larger, and the image retains all the detail that was painted on. The reason I included both files is so that you can choose between these 2 in case your laptop or Mac computer cannot handle a large file, or if you have a slow internet connection. Sometimes that affects Cricut Design Space. Anyhow, both files have on their names the correct width that you have to enter on Cricut Design Space for the file to be the right size for this project. Finally, the Silhouette Studio file contains both the SVG file, the card base, the inserts, and also the print then cut files. If you are using the Silhouette Studio 4.4 version or higher, you will get the cut lines automatically drawn on your mat, both for both the SVG file and also the PNG transparent background image that you'll be able to print then cut and then assemble the card. I do not own a Silhouette machine, so for those Silhouette users, please let me know if you find any issues on the files. Okay, so go to Design Space and go to Upload, then click on Upload Image, and then instead of clicking on Browse, just open a a Windows Explorer and just click on your file and drag it to Cricut Design Space. That is way faster than, navigating and surfing through all your folders. Then click on Save, and then we will upload the second SVG file. So click on Upload Image, open a Windows Explorer, and then click and drag your file to Design Space. This is the one that contains the scoring lines. Then click on Upload, and there you have both files. I will upload both of these so you can see the difference between them. So click on each one of these until you see that green outline, and then go to Insert Images. Cricut Design Space will load both SVG files onto your canvas. There you have both. These two files are grouped individually, and as you can see here, the file on your left is the one that has the dashed lines instead of scoring lines. Each of these dashed lines will be cut on your card base and will help you or guide you with the card base folding. The file to your right has the scoring lines, and these scoring lines have to be prepared to be scored on your machine. So your file on your right is the one that is highlighted on your layers panel right here. And you'll see that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 layers. The file that has the cut lines has only 4 layers because there is no scoring layer. To get your file ready, let me hide this one by clicking on the eye icon to the right. And for this file, what you need to do is first select the top layer, that is your scoring layer, and change the operation from basic cut to score. Now those lines will be scored on your card base. Next, we need to attach those scoring lines to our cut lines or the cut outline right here. And for that, what we need to do is just select the whole thing and click on Ungroup. And then select both layers, the top layer, which is the scoring layer, and the card base, which is the second layer. You can do this by clicking dragging a rectangle that includes both shapes, or you can also do this by clicking the top layer, holding the Shift key, and then clicking on the second layer. Now with both layers selected, you will click on Attach down here. Now those scoring lines are attached to your cut lines. If we click on Make It, you will see on your mats that these scoring lines are attached to the outline that will be cut. Here are your embellishments for the card base, and here are the hard inserts for the card. Now let me go back. Let me hide this scored card and unhide the cut lines. If you work with this file, you don't need to do anything, just upload it to Cricut Design Space. Go to Make It, and you'll see here that the cut lines are on one mat. Here are the card base embellishments and the hard inserts. You don't need to attach those cut lines to your card base because they are already drawn in the design. Okay, so whether you are using the cut lines or these core lines card base, you will need to upload the print then cut file. So click on Upload, then go to Upload Image. Remember to open a Windows Explorer file. We will use the high resolution image, so click and drag it to your Cricut Design Space window. I always like to select complex for these images, then click on Continue. And as you can see here, there is no need to clean up this image because the background has already been removed. So just click on Continue and wait for the software to load the images, then select Print Then Cut Image. Here you can change the name of the file and add tags if you want to, and then click on Upload. That way your file will be loaded into Design Space. Sometimes it might take a while for the file to load, depending on the speed of your laptop or your internet connection sometimes. So click on the Print Then Cut Image and go to Insert Image, and the file will be uploaded to your canvas. Now you'll see that you will get a very large image and a warning right here that says that your image is too large and you have to reduce it to a Print Then Cut size file. We will need to change this. Remember, I told you the name of the file has the width, the correct width that you have to enter to resize the file to the correct dimensions. So it's 6.566 inches. So go to the size panel up here. Make sure the proportions are locked, that small lock is closed. Here's open and there's closed. And change the width to 6.566 inches. Click on Enter, and your file has already been resized to the correct dimensions. Now, if you click on Make It, the projects will be sorted onto your mats. And here's the Print Then Cut file, the Print Then Cut image. Here is a card base with the scoring lines or the cut lines attached. And here are the card base embellishments and the hard inserts for the card. You will then click on Continue, cut your pieces, and start assembling the card. Here you can see both card bases compared side to side. They are both the same on the outline. And the main difference is that one has scored lines and the other one has little dashes that will be cut on your cardstock to guide the folding. The scored card base was done with the scoring wheel tool. And as you can see, it will not leave any marks on your cardstock. You can do this also with a scoring tool if you want to. The card base on your right was done with a fine point blade, where the blade will cut small dashes that will guide the folding of the card. I find that cut lines are easier to fold, but it will leave marks on your cardstock, like you can see here. And here are all the pieces of your card. These are the card base embellishment panels. You will need 6 of these. You will have your card base, your center insert, the heart-shaped insert. You'll need 2 of these. And the center of these inserts can be used as card notes, so you can put them inside the envelope to write, a message, or you can use them on other projects if you want to. So I'll save those. Then as a card base, you will have 4 inserts that will go through the slots of the card base. This is the order in which you will have to assemble them. And finally, you have the half wreath that goes on the central insert. Now, to fold the card, you will need to follow the scoring lines that we drew with the R machine or that you cut. And I will guide you through the folding. It's a good idea to use a bone folder for this to make those creases very sharp. I use a Teflon bone folder. Remember that all the tools that I use are listed on the video description below. And you will have links to those products in case you are interested in any of them. Now there's a lip on the card base that will create a recessed platform. I think that looks very unique, and it gives the card a lot more dimension. Now fold the flaps, the guiding, the gluing tabs. Remember to crease those folds very well with the bone folder. Remember to create that lip. Crease that very well. And then continue folding the sides and the base of the card base. Now fold the center. This is a valley fold that you will need to create. Next, we'll glue the those gluing tabs that create the lip or the recessed platform. Remember to remove any excess glue. We don't want any excess oozing out of those flaps. Fold the side flaps. I use a bone folder to make them very sharp, and then create that recessed platform. It's a good idea to flip the card platform to the top so you make sure it's not glued to the sides of the card base. I like to use those clip binders, binder clips, and I never know what they are called, to hold the cardstock together. Use a bone folder to make those creases sharp and make sure those tabs adhere to the card base. And I changed the binder clips to the other side to hold the cardstock. Now glue the embellishment panels to the card base. You can stamp on these or maybe use some design. I didn't want to overdo it, so I left them plain. And glue the embellishment panels on the opposite side as well. Next, we will glue the center panel, the center insert, using both of the heart shapes. I used 2 pieces of cardstock glued together with liquid glue just to make them sturdier, and I think the card works better this way. So make sure the pieces are aligned, the corners of the base and the corner of the heart. I like to use a stamping block to hold it together while it's drying. Now to position the half wreath, the printed half wreath that you see here, make sure the sides of that wreath don't go over the shaped of the heart, especially on the lower third portion of that heart. Otherwise, the card will get stuck and won't work properly. Using a binder clip or a sewing clip, whatever you have at hand, keep it in place and start gluing the half wreath to the center insert. Small dots of glue are enough, and once the top part is adhered, start gluing the bottom half of the half wreath. Use a stamping block to hold it together while it dries, and then you will need to score the printed inserts to be folded. Just follow those dotted lines that you see on the bottom of each insert. Now the backmost insert has 3 scoring lines, one at the bottom, and 2 on the center flap that you see in the middle. You will need to fold these gluing tabs. I like to fold them back and forth a couple of times until they are very movable, and that you see here that the cardstock has kind of like a hinge right there. That way I have found the card works better. Now keep folding all those gluing tabs on the inserts. Fold the bottom gluing tab of the backmost insert. And then for the center flap, just fold it upwards. And then fold the gluing tab, creating a mountain fold. There you go. Now crease those very well. You can fold them towards the front and towards the back a couple of times. And now we'll start assembling the inserts. Start with the back of the card and put the backmost insert on the backmost slot. Make sure the sides of that insert touch the platform, the recessed platform. Now add a little bit of glue to the gluing tab, just the small tab that you see down there. Make sure no glue goes outside of that gluing tab. It's very important that only the gluing tab has glue on it. Remove any excess with your fingers. And now holding that backmost insert, put the next insert. Make sure both are all the way inside those slots. And then hold that gluing tab so it glues to that second insert. Once it dries, flip it over. Lift the bottom of the card base and you will see 2 gluing tabs right here. They should be aligned. Make sure both are centered on that card base, and add some glue to the gluing tabs, making sure no glue goes outside of those gluing tabs. Do not put any glue outside those tabs. Remove any excess with your fingers. Pull those inserts down all the way on the card base, and then fold the bottom of the card base so it glues to those gluing tabs. Hold them for a couple of seconds. And here you'll see that both inserts are glued to the card bottom. Next, we'll put the center insert. To do this, you will need to fold the base of that insert. Just make sure the top of the fold meets that corner of the heart and the base. Do not use a scoring tool. Just use your fingers. Do not use your nails or anything. It's not necessary. Next, feed that center insert through that center slot. Be very careful with it, especially when you have when you're using the dashed card, because it could rip right in the center. Make sure it goes all the way through, and once it's gone through, open up those folded tabs. This will hold the center insert inside the card and will prevent it from going out. Next, we will glue the bottom of that center insert to the bottom of the card using that flap. So put a small and very thin line of glue right there. Fold that flap and use the bone folders so the glue spreads underneath. Make sure the tab has not glued to the sides and that it's free right there so it can move freely. If you glue that bottom tab to the card base, it will not move correctly. You can use a binder clip to hold it together, or sewing clips also. Sometimes I use sewing clips. Next, we'll put the center bouquet of flowers. This is the only pink one. And then the front insert. Feed them through. Fold your card up. Remove those clip binders. And make sure the inserts are fed all the way through. Pull them down, put some glue on the gluing tabs. Do not put glue outside those gluing tabs. Fold the card bottom and glue it together. Hold it for a couple of seconds. And here you see the mechanism working. Now you only need to glue that bottom tab to the other half of the card. To close the bottom of this card, remove any excess. Hold it. Put clips on it to hold it together until it dries. I'm using Aleene's tacky glue. This is a very fast drying glue. It takes about, 8 or 10 seconds to dry completely. And then glue the sides of the card base to close the sides. Make sure you don't put any glue on the center insert. Hold it for a couple of seconds, remove the clips from the bottom and put them on the sides. Leave it there for a couple of seconds until it dries, and then remove the clips. And that's it. That's your card assembled. Now I like to make it work a couple of times, to activate the mechanism and go a little further than you're supposed to. That will kind of work the cardstock so the card works better when you open it. Remember, this card fits on an A2 size envelope. Here's the same process using the cut lines as a guide for the folding. It's way easier to fold it this way, I think, but visually, I like these chord lines better. I think the end result is a little bit cleaner when you use scoring lines instead of the cut lines. That will leave those small sticking points on the edges, but it's up to you which file you use. Okay, so finally when you have folded the card base, you can continue assembling the card. So there you have it, a great card to use for Mother's Day and maybe even Valentine's if you feel like it. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you have not done it yet, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell button next to the subscribe button to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Here are a couple more videos you could be interested in. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.